everyone, Tony D with another hot take. I know I'm making way too many videos today. I had to get in on this one. Everybody's doing their own take on this celebrity culture is burning article. Is celebrity culture burning? Yes and no. Short answer, longer answer. The current celebrity culture is burning. That's because the current celebrity culture really didn't have much talent in it. It's made up of legacies. In other words, people who they didn't so much earn their place in Hollywood. They were already kind of rich and in to begin with, and they're on the inside. They were on the inside even before they became world famous. They were, the most talented and beautiful of those people, because you have to be beautiful at the very minimum and somewhat talented to be in the mix. I think Robert Downey Jr. is probably one of the greatest actors of this era. But his family was pretty well-to-do, is my understanding. And he's been well-to-do for a while, but he's also very smart now that since he cleaned up his act a long time ago. He is, people love him. People love him. I know very few people who look at Robert Downey Jr. and go, "Oh, that jerk." I can't think of anybody. They like him as an actor. He's very talented. I know that Doolittle bombed, and Yellow Flash just cited that as evidence. I think the reason Doolittle bombed is Doolittle was not a good movie to remake. It's a franchise, or not a franchise, but it's an old movie. It doesn't resonate with people anymore. Back when they made it, yes, people liked it. It was musical. It was the way they made movies at that era. Now, you can't make a movie like Doolittle and expect it to do well, especially when you have people doing the celebrity voices of animals. That's what really killed it. In the original Doolittle, they had real animals. And, it wasn't all about, who's celebrities doing the bear's voice. Nobody wants to see that. Also, CGI animals, I don't think are quite there yet. They're okay, but they're not great. So that would be my explanation for probably why Doolittle didn't resonate with its audience. If you had somehow modernized it, maybe you could have come up with a Doolittle that did okay. But this whole, I talked about it, the Imagine video where Gal Gadot, who everybody kind of likes still, she was a good Wonder Woman, and it doesn't seem to be inordinately narcissistic, but although this Imagine video kind of pushed her in that realm. But, a lot of the people who, and they seem well-meaning in the video, they're just clueless. They're just clueless, and they were probably pushed into it by their publicist. The reason most of these guys, these celebrities, are so tone deaf is they are further separated from the masses, or probably the most separated from the masses and normal people, more than anyone has been in, ages. There are exceptions, of course. Ryan Reynolds, everybody likes him, but Ryan Reynolds is kind of he's not really a comedian, but he's a comic actor, and he's got a great sense of comic timing. He was always sort of a funny guy. Even though he had a long string of what I thought were horrible movies, and I couldn't believe he kept appearing in these movies, I guess because he was so handsome and they wanted to use him for his handsomeness. But my God, you could just see, movie after movie, they cast him as the handsome guy instead of the funny guy, which he clearly was. Val Kilmer had kind of a similar problem at the beginning of his career. He was the funny kid. And then, he got handsome and in shape, and then they started casting him in all these sort of handsome guy roles. But that speaks more to the quality of the movies. And I think you know where I'm probably going with this. The quality of the writing. Yes, surprise, the screenwriter thinks movies are terribly written. Well, they are. And I've had some experience dealing with Hollywood a-holes, and they don't care about the quality of writing. Their idea of quality of writing is writing by committee, getting so many people involved and so many opinions that, well, it has to be good because so many people approved it, of course. No, that's not how it works. I had a client, I'll never forget, years ago, and he told me he was working with a screenwriter from LA who he claimed to have paid $100,000 to spend one weekend rewriting a script. And I said, well, what did you guys do? Now, if I had been paid $100,000 for a weekend to write a screenplay, I'd write you a damn good screenplay. Let me tell you. I mean, I wouldn't have done anything else. So I asked him to describe the process that they went through to rewrite a screenplay. He said, well, we went to the boardwalk and we asked people what they liked, and and we had dinner. And I looked at him like, are you insane? Are you certifiably insane? That's not how you rewrite a screenplay. You don't walk around in a public area and ask people questions. And yet, that's what a lot of guys out in Hollywood kind of do in their own way. They do focus groups. Oh, gee, let's see what people like. If you need to ask what people like, you don't have any talent. That's not, people like a lot of different things. And if you ask various individuals, it's not even going to cover the entire country that you're aiming this movie for. What you want is people who indulge in the creative process nonstop for years and years and years, and they've learned something about it. They've learned little shortcuts, or they've explored the hero's journey over and over again. They watch movies and read books, and they're just steeped in this stuff. So when you go to them and you ask them for an original idea, they can pitch you something really cool and dynamic. I do it all the time online. Sometimes I've come up with a great idea, and I'll just pitch it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. I don't care. I can come up with ideas all the time. But those ideas, the dynamic ones, like my new book, The Pineys, which I feel is very new, try to pitch that. Like, I'm out here trying the new stuff, the stuff that I'm trying to be ahead of the curve. I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm God's gift to writing and creativity. But that's the process. You try to be ahead of the curve. I'm ahead of the curve, I'd like to think. I'm trying to explore these characters with particular traits and things about them that people hunger for now in this society. Now, if you look at the stuff I did 20 years ago, no, that stuff's old. It's old hat. It's dated. But the stuff I'm working on now, I'm trying to get ahead of the next curve. I'm not trying to do superheroes. Look, superheroes are done. They've been done. They've been done to death. What are they doing in Hollywood? Oh, we're making more superhero movies, everyone. Yeah, the MCU is making superheroes because why? Well, because money people run the studios and they say, well, what made money last year? Superhero movies. Yeah. Do more of that. That's how business people think. They don't think outside of that. They just say, well, what's going to make us money? Now, as a creative person, if they came to me for a screenplay, obviously I'd have to kind of work the superhero angle, but sort of also get in on the new angle, whatever it was. And that's the way I would pitch my newer things. But you got to understand that the reason the culture of celebrity isn't any good anymore, it's driven by these studio hacks. They don't know anything creative. They know money. They know how to put together a deal and sign contracts and have meetings and, put out a great sushi thing when you show up at the meeting. I mean, they have their skills. I'm not calling them bad people. But when it comes to creativity, they know nothing. They know very little. They need a certain amount of vision. Now, that's not the same thing as creativity, although creative people tend to have vision. But visionaries look towards the future. And they also, and I hate to say it, but Trump is one of these guys. Trump can pick in business the guys who are good at what they do. And he's good at assigning them things to do. Now, he might take credit for a lot of it, but that's to be expected from any boss. It's exactly what these studio heads should be doing. They should be acting like Trump. They should be picking creative guys and letting them go off and do something crazy and weird. Because some of that crazy and weird is going to be a hit. And that's going to be the new thing that sets the tone for the next 3 or 4 or 5, 10 years. But they're not doing that. And now that money's going to get tight, they're going to do it even less. But the reason celebrity culture is burning is because they're just employees of the studio when you get right down to it. Oh, they're very rich, many of them, and they run in the same circles. But, you know, their world mirrors the world of the studio guys who also do that. They're just not famous. They are also sitting in their mansions, bored out of their minds, trying to say to themselves, I wish I could do something cool today, but I can't. I'm stuck here in my $6 million mansion, and I can't even get decent foie gras, and my maid hasn't been here in days because she can't come up here. I had to buy her a hazmat suit just so she could clean the damn house. Now I got to spend time with my family, who I see maybe 5 days out of the year. This is crazy. See, they kind of have too much influence in the studio system now. And it's been that way for a while. Back in the 40s, people were still kind of real. You know, nobody had as much money. Movies were still kind of a new thing. And yes, there were excesses and people partied and did things, but they also had lives outside these movies. And much like the people who are in Washington who are totally tone deaf and caught in their bubble, Hollywood has a bubble too. So are these guys, is celebrity culture burning? Well, this celebrity culture is burning, but there's a new celebrity culture. There's one on the internet. There's the YouTubers. They have their own celebrity culture. There are YouTubers who are celebrities, and I follow many of them, and I've talked about some of them. There are going to be a new set of Netflix celebrities, and, you know, all these celebrities, like all these audiences, have been atomized. So it's not going to be the way it was in the 40s and 50s, where people in the United States, basically, they could only watch movies and TV, and there were only a handful of celebrities. Now there's going to be celebrities for TV, movies, internet, Netflix, streaming services. There'll be people who are famous as hell to the crowd, and there are already today. There are YouTubers who are super famous. They have millions of followers. I have no idea who they are because they're on TikTok. And I don't even look at TikTok unless the video ends up on YouTube somehow. It's part of the atomization of audiences. So the new celebrities are moving in. And just like the process before, where the new supplants the old hangs on by their fingernails because there's still money in celebrity. Just like you saw in the comic book industry years ago when things started to fall apart the first time, you saw the celebrities in the world of comic books hang on by their fingernails until they slowly got pulled away. And then some of them retired with their money and moved on to other things, like, say, Todd McFarlane buying up the toy factory there. Smart move there, Todd. Although he still dabbles in, or still does comics, he could care less if he makes money or not. That's what's going to happen to a lot of these celebrities. Hopefully a lot of them will go back to doing plays or independent movies, the really good ones, the really dedicated ones. The ones that were just in it for the money will take their money and go their own way. And then there'll be a handful who are just desperate to revitalize television and movies just like the old days. That's not going to happen. The old days are gone. Okay? Nobody's going to watch TV. You know, Donald Trump's press conference is the closest thing you're going to get to everybody watching it right now. And that's only because of this current crisis. You're not going to get that with movies again. You'll be lucky to have any movie theaters anymore. By the time this is all over, everybody's going to watch in their house, and it'll further atomize everything as you see these studios fight over the pieces of the audience. And they're going to have to slash and slash their budgets and save their money because there are guys out in the middle of nowhere making mind-blowing movies for like $100. I've been watching these shorts on alter.net, these little short horror movies. They're pretty good, some of them. And you can watch so much stuff. Content is king now. This is content. You know, who the heck watches some guy talking to a camera? Well, lots of people. I do it all day. And that's the new celebrity. You know, everybody's going, the celebrity is not burning down. It's just being atomized and passed out to everybody. Everybody's going to have their 15 minutes of fame or 15 followers, you know, either way. So that's what's happening. I don't think the current crop or celebrity culture will go away. It's just changing. It's changing to a different crop of celebrities. They're going to be internet celebrities, and they're going to crash and burn way quicker. Now, this guy iDubbbz, he just went down in flames for various reasons. My understanding, I didn't even know who this guy was until they started talking to him. Sorry, low battery. Until they started talking about his whole deal. I kind of feel bad for the guy, but you know, that's the way it happens on the internet. You make one mistake, people find out about you and expose you as some kind of phony or whatever. Look, I'm poor. I told you, I'm pretty poor. I just make little videos and books and try to tell stories. That's all I do. Please go easy on me, internet. Go easy on me. I'm a nice person, just trying to survive in the world. But you know, celebrities, they've gotten lazy. You know, I mean, as a culture, you know, it used to be someone who was a celebrity. My God, they were always so talented. Harold Lloyd was one of the most talented guys from the silent film era. This guy did his own stunts. He was an actor. He was an acrobat. I mean, he was amazing. Buster Keaton was an amazing guy. There were guys, you know, you couldn't, back in the old days of old Hollywood, you couldn't be in movies unless you could sing and dance and act and juggle and play an instrument and do all these things. And like, now they just, you know, they can make anybody famous, really, you know, if you got the right look and you're in the right movie and you know the right person and you're, you know, maybe the son of some studio exec, go on the right audition, they give you a shot. You know, and I don't hate to, you know, knock these people who have been bought into privilege, but, you know, that really helps your career. It's true. It's not a meritocracy in Hollywood, really. It's, I mean, it's the closest thing you'll ever get to one, but really everybody in Hollywood is extremely lazy, in my view. And they're still operate on this sort of treadmill of cranking out content where, like, if you happen to be standing in the room when they need somebody, you can get your shot. Man, that's all there is to it. That's why everybody's so desperate to go to Hollywood. But that's changing, because if you got a phone and a video camera and a YouTube channel or BitChute channel or whatever, you know, the pieces of celebrity are being taken away. So I guess celebrity culture isn't burning, it's just crumbling. And we are taking the pieces away.